We think about like when we get hired, right? Or we hire someone, usually we might have that like welcoming email we send everyone that says, welcome so and so to the team. But to your point, imagine if it was like a journal where we take them through like 30 days of being as part of our community and part of our family, where we really can share with them the values and the mission and what part they bring in the larger movement that we're creating. Like that, from a messaging and branding perspective, that's so powerful because that conveys to that new team member how clear we are as a team.
Lacey, I am so excited for this episode today because I have been dreaming about you and I getting on this call for a very long time. And I'm telling you, Lacey, I know you have this magic. Not only that you are amazing with words, you have so much experience helping, 7, 8 figures businesses, but actually brands bring their voice into the world. And actually what you do is you pull who they are out of them. You have that magic thing about turning those words into millions of dollars. That's kind of like where I always think about it. And I can't wait to dive into it. First of all, I wanted to say to everyone, you guys, you have Lacey Simmons today on my show. And I couldn't be more excited. We have met about, 5 years ago in Sarasota. I mean, I was here on a trip. I actually don't even remember how it was. We met.
Yeah.
I wanted to try this new juice place here in Sarasota.
Yes.
That's right?
It's funny because you were like, I'm on the road. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And then I'm like, well, where are you? You're like, Sarasota. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm in Sarasota.
That's right. And we just like, let's go get it juiced up. Yes. So, oh my God. And I met you and boy, right from the beginning, I fell in love with you. Oh. Yeah, it's so beautiful. And now you just have helped our business so much. You helped us grow. You are the literally chief words marketing, social media expert in Salon Cadence. And you help so many of our members literally take the words out of their brain and put it into ink, and it converts. So I can't wait to dive into this. So one thing is, if you can tell us, how did you even start? Because the other day I just learned on something that you specialize that I never even knew you were doing. And what did you call it? It's
instructional design.
Yes. What is that? What is that? Can you explain?
Yeah. So instructional design is technically like the science behind how to create curricula that will keep the adult learner engaged and help them create courses. So usually someone that has a degree or specialty in that would know how to do online courses and create online courses that people want to take and actually complete.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is that something, and we talked about doing something like taking that method and put Salon Cadence method in together. But isn't that kind of like a great asset for every business owner to take their whole client journey or take their whole employee journey and put it into a manual? And I know they call it manual, but why not make that, what is it? This company does that and they do it amazing. It's almost their promise.
Yes.
The promise into their new employees. So they get like a gift, and in the gift, it's like a book of who they are and what they do. I think, right?
Yeah.
I think that's something important to do. It's like a gift that a new employee will come out and we would send them immediately it's like like a journal of the company, and maybe even make it more fun of it. But what do you think? We just invented something new now.
Exactly. I mean, I love that. I mean, because we think about like when we get hired, right? Or we hire someone, usually we might have that like welcoming email we send everyone that says, welcome so and so to the team. But to your point, imagine if it was like a journal where we take them through like 30 days of being as part of our community and a part of our family, where we really can share with them the values and the mission and what part they bring in the larger movement that we're creating. Like that, from a messaging and branding perspective, that's so powerful because that conveys to that new team member how clear we are as a team about what we want to achieve. And then what part they play helps them get immediate buy-in, right? You talk about your employees being investors. What better way to get them to want to invest in your company than to give them a clear roadmap or a journal to really experience what it is they've just said yes to?
I love this. What a fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a new something to do. We got to create like a day. Maybe we do it like in a book club manner,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
right? And just create like a day of let's write your promise. Let's write your
Mhm.
thesis on your company, your vision, and your maybe even your staff can contribute into those
Sure.
pages, Would
Yeah.
that be great? This episode is sponsored by Salon Cadence, the only global advisory network helping salon and spa and med spa CEOs scale to 7 and 8 figures without a burnout. This is not a do-it-yourself program. This is do it with you and for you. From profit-first system to team-run leadership. First, we fix the numbers, then we create the wealth, then we will focus on CEO mindset, and we build the process with your team to give you the ultimate freedom to become the true CEO and visionary you are. We have helped thousands grow widely successful for freedom-driven companies in beauty, wellness, and regenerative medicine. If you're ready to grow, scale, and live a wealthy life, visit saloncadence.com. Now, one of the most important things that you can invest in and not do it yourself, I highly recommend mysalonbooks.com. Salon owners that are tired of never knowing if you're actually profitable or where your money is going, on what your money is doing for you or against you. The team at My Salon Books takes the stress off your plate. They are specialized in salon booking, providing real-time insight and financial clarity so you can focus on what you do best, running a thriving salon. Here at Salon Cadence, we recommend mysalonbooks.com. It is the only bookkeeping management that utilizes the profit first the right way. So go to mysalonbooks.com to learn more and get free evaluation of your own books. Well, I love it. Well, anyway, so welcome to the show. Lacey, I'm super excited that you're here. But before we dive into your success today and take us back, I want you to really take us back to your very most challenging moments in business, in your business, that point where everything seems to be falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
What was happening? How did you feel? And what was unexpected turning point that actually changed everything for you?
Yeah. So if I think back vividly, it would be February or March of 2020, right? Like right before the world shut down with the pandemic. But I was
Yes.
in this space, like this freelance space of trying to get clear on my pricing. Well, first of all, I was burnt out. So I was like, I have 8 or 9 clients. I'm still not making ends meet at the end of the day. Like I actually was at a point where I had to make a financial decision of whether I stayed in the home that I had purchased when I was 20 years old or give it all up and go live with my sister in a room, because I had gotten to a point where I was working probably 80 hours a week, but my bank account didn't look that way. Right. And so I remember thinking like, wow, like I'm making people money and I'm really talented at what I do, but what am I missing? Like, what is that piece that's obviously not clicking for me? And it was the price part, right? And I think a lot of people that are watching this, whether you're a business owner, salon, spa, medi aesthetics, you're probably in that same space too, right? Of feeling like you're doing this amazing work, you're doing lots of this amazing work every week, but the fruits of your labor aren't really matching up from a financial perspective. And so I was in that same space as a writer, like stuck with pricing, not really sure what I should charge people to price, and then also feeling this space of constriction of who am I to even raise my prices? Like, who am I to say that I need to make twice as much or 3 times as much or whatever it might be? And for me, the turning point was I was working with a client and they had featured me in one of their online virtual summits. So they had normally an in-person event. They converted it to virtual because of the pandemic. And I did a presentation. And then at the end of the presentation, like we could see in the chat, like people's comments of like, oh, I want to hire Lacey. Oh, I want to hire her. And I remember like him making an offer on the stage and he's like, hey, you want to work with Lacey at $7,000. And I remember sitting there like, nobody's going to pay that. That's crazy. Like I was barely charging people $25 an hour. And he's like, yeah, $7,000 to work with her for 1 week. And I'm like, oh, I'm like sitting there and I'm like thinking I know more than he does. Cause I'm like laughing. I'm like, no one's going to buy that. And he sold out. He sold 15 of them at $7,000. And then it started to become a bidding war of, well, I want to go first. I don't want to wait months to work. I want to go first. So then it was, oh, you can upsell for another 1,500 to go first.
That's
So by the time the smoke cleared, he had taken the amazing work that I do and been able to make $165,000 for his company. And for me, that was an eye-opening moment of, girl, charge more than $25. Because people value it, right? People value that expertise and that the kind of intimacy that I bring to them. And so for me, that was an eye-opening moment of, wow. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we struggle with that self-worth piece. Like, who are we to charge, even though we know we do great work? And for me, it was a solidifying moment of saying, you are enough, you are worth whatever that price tag is you want to put on it.
Well, I think more than that, if you're talking about structuring pricing,
yes,
for sure, there's a method to that madness, for sure. However, I think that once you figure out what's your breakpoint even, and then you determined what is the value that you're giving. So let's say the value for somebody is bringing 10 new clients in 1 week, or what's the value of 10 new clients? So if the value per one client, per one visit, let's say is $400 per visit, and if they come and visit 10 times a year, then that's $4,000 just from one client. So the value that you bring in is a lot more than $7,000 if just one client they pay and get more. And so not only that, the other thing is, like, I don't know if you ever had that experience before when it comes to it, that whenever you say to somebody, my prices are $5,000, but I'll give it to you for $500, then immediately people are devaluing it. So even though it's a discount, and even though it's a break, then immediately the client will say, well, I don't know, I kind of liked when you were expensive. I kind of like what, there's a psychology behind this, a big research behind that people really put value in higher pricing than in lower pricing.
Right. Totally agree.
Yeah. So you change, so you get a turning point that changed everything, and that was the turning point because it was a fact. Now, many see your successes today, right? But few understand really the fully journey that it takes to be at that point, to feel confidence to do it. Would you mind sharing a moment when your business was in crisis? How did it affect not just your company, but how did it affect your health, your relationship?
Yes. So I have 2 kids, one that's 12 and a 2-year-old. And I'm a single mom. So pretty much anything that goes on business wise, unfortunately, sometimes filters down to how we show up as parents. Right. And so it was February of last year, February 2024. I had pains in my side that I kept ignoring for months. And so I ended up pretty much in the hospital with him having to do emergency surgery because my gallbladder was about to erupt or rupture.
Oh, wow.
And it was interesting because, again, another turning point, I was actually sitting on a client call and I was about to go teach in their community. And I remember saying, I can just stomach through the pain. I can just stomach through it. And then my son, who was 11 at the time, he was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And had it not been actually for him taking that powerful stand for me, I probably would have passed out in the middle of a client call, right? And I may not have been here to really share that kind of aha moment with you guys. But in that same idea, like the cycle of kind of overworking and, with my daughter, I don't have a consistent daycare. So like trying to figure out how to manage being a mom the second time around, which feels like the first time, not a whole lot of support, right? And still with a growing client list, that was one of the first hits of like my health. And even then, I'm going to the hospital with my computer, my laptop in my lap, right?
Of course, of course. Yes.
They're like prepping me for surgery. And I'm like, wait a minute, I got to send one more email. And the nurse looks at me and like, okay, fine, we'll wait. And like literally the whole operating team waiting for me to send this one email to finish it because I knew that the client needed it by a certain time that day. And it's like in those moments where you realize really the humanity of what it is you have, the gifts that you have, and how all of it could be taken away if you're not careful. And so that moment for me was kind of an eye opener to say, one, my kids are growing faster than I would like. And right, I don't want to miss all those precious moments. And then two, more importantly, right, I heard someone say, we always talk about we'll die for our kids, but when will we live for them? And so
Oh,
it
wow.
reminded me of like, hey, this writing thing is great. This business thing is great. It always can be chaotic if you choose it to be, but you
Yeah.
also have the beautiful distinction and decision to be able to make it be different and feel different.
Oh my God, this is so huge what you just said. This is a good quote. I love to use that quote. Like, I think that where did I hear that one? Ariana Huffington. We think mistakenly that success is the results of the amount of time we put into at work instead of the quality of time
Yeah.
we really put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just a huge aha for me what you just said. And I always tell that story about how I missed my daughter's um, you know cello practice, and I had it planned on my calendar for a long time. But yet I got up in the morning, I got into my routine, I got into work, and before you know it, boom, I completely
Mhm.
forgot about it.
Yeah.
And you can't get those time back. You
Yeah.
just can't. They don't exist. So let's talk a little bit about what Lacey really does. So tell us about your day. Like, what do you do with those words? What do you actually do?
Yeah. So I like to say I play a bit of copywriter and therapist, for lack of a better word. But my typical day would look like usually waking up to client calls. And a lot of the things that I like about, there's a lot of people in this space with Chat GPT and remote working where they never want to meet with clients, right? They want to send me the details in the email, don't ever talk to me. I actually prefer to meet with clients on a regular basis, partly because, and I was telling you this, Ronit, as well, my clients are the most brilliant copywriters on the face of the planet. They just don't realize it yet.
You told me that at 8 o'clock in the morning when we had our therapy session.
Exactly. And so I view my role as, yes, a writer, but actually more of a secondary role. The primary role is to help empower my clients to see themselves as writers. Because what I find is the most beautiful and high converting language that I ever can create comes actually from my client's own mouth. And so what I like to do in the sessions that I have with my clients is really just ask questions, just let them talk. I have one client that says, "Oh, I'm just going to brain dump," and she'll brain dump some of the most amazing things that otherwise would have been trapped in her brain. And so really giving my clients space to talk through ideas, talk through challenges and objections and things they might have to things that I've written, and really bring back that human side to the marketing beast, and then use that to then go into the Chat GPTs or the Claudes of the world, the AI tools, and bring that human element into the technology to now create something that's more efficiently created, but is really in alignment with everything that client wants to represent. So I would say the bulk of my day, about 50% of my day, is spent in meetings, kind of doing that interaction, kind of doing those brainstorming sessions and extracting that language from my clients. And the other half of the day is spent partnering with technology to kind of get those marketing pieces created pretty quickly. And then my nightcap is usually spent in a baseball field somewhere with my son. So
Oh, that's amazing. Now, but talking about before we go into what owners needs to realize about the importance of words and how they can generate uh, another zero at the end of the year, or how they can make their life easier. I do want to dive into your single mom, your two children, two young children, two beautiful young children, but very ambitious children already, I can tell. Okay. And not to mention Kavanaugh and Warrior, two amazing names that literally follow their personality. Uh, However, when I remember when we started together, my story was to you, and I didn't know what was your personal story, what you're like, but I said, Lacey, my whole being or my whole mission is dedicated to our beautiful wellness and beauty industry, and give them tools, give them education, support them in every which way. But we're specializing with single moms and single children. That was our core clientele. And why is because it is definitely not an easy to be an entrepreneur. And it's not easy to be a woman entrepreneur and running a seven-figure companies. However, when you add to it that you're a single mom, boy,
Yeah.
it is, if a single mom can do this, anyone can do it, right? So what does it take for you to balance, not balance, but how do you get harmony, let's say most of the day? What is
Mhm.
your routine? How do you manage? Because I know what you do.
Mhm.
And even though you work with Salon Cadence, I know you have other clients. So how do you manage all of that and keep your cool?
Yeah, discipline. That's the word, discipline. Because I think there's something that happens when you're a remote, because then you got the piece of the remote part, right? The remote piece on top of it, so my kids can interrupt me anytime, right? And
Yeah.
and then
And
I
you
also
homeschool them. And you homeschool them. Hello.
so just add layer on layer on layer, but it's discipline. From multiple layers, right? So I have friends that I have to say, hey, you can call me during the day. I may or may not answer, right? Because you can have those interruptions. But one of the things that I feel that I've learned pretty early on is the more that I involve my kids in the work that I do, the more I actually get done.
Wow.
So for a portion of the day, we're seated at a desk. You can imagine seated at a table. I'm on my computer, I'm working. And my son is on the other side on his computer doing math work. And so we kind of make this family time where we're all working. And so he has his things that he has to do. I have my things that I have to do. And then I usually find at least an hour a day where I actually take him through. Let me show you all the things I did today. Right. Because
Wow.
there's sometimes I think, even with kids, right, there's this misconception that mommy or daddy goes to work, they make money, that's it. And it's just like this little black box. And so for me, I'm really big on empowering my son to know what that means to work. And I also do want to light that fire of entrepreneurship in him. So we spent an hour just talking through. He'll say, well, what did you work on today? And I'll show him. Here's what I was given. Here's what I created. Any ideas, any things you think I should change? Because I also want him to be not just a consumer of technology, but a producer. And in order to do that, we have to have these kind of conversations. So for me, it's discipline. And then along the lines of how can I incorporate what I'm learning and what I'm doing and use that as a teachable moment for my kids?
Oh, I think that's brilliant. I mean, that just, you know, it makes me think about this quote that I love so much. The purpose of life is not to be happy, it is
Mhm.
to be useful, to be
Yes.
honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make differences that you have lived and lived well. And
Yes.
I think that's Ralph Waldo Emerson. And but by thinking about this is exactly what you're creating at home. It's
Mhm.
not,
Mhm.
it's like a win-win-win-win. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, how can that be better than school, right? And I know some of you wish they can do homeschooling, and school is great, but it just makes you think,
Mhm.
what does it take? And it doesn't really, I mean, discipline for sure, but at the same time they get in their own habits, their own routines, so they become disciplined on their own.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
don't teach them that anymore.
Yep. Yep. And then when I show him what I'm doing, it puts value to those words, mommy's working. He's like, oh, I know what that means. It doesn't just mean leave me alone. It means she's creating something for a website that's going to help someone make money, that's going to help create impact in the world. So it really makes it really significant. So all I have to say to him now is, I'm on a meeting. Okay, I got it. And he'll go get a book or he'll go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. With this podcast or our show, it's Living a Profitable Life show. We're going to bring you so many great guests and lessons and teaching. So it's really is wonderful to have our partners, sponsors that helping us make this possible for everyone. But it is you who are going to make us better. So I'm asking you to always comment and let me know, how was this episode? Was it helpful? What else would you like to learn? What else would you like to see? It's predicted within the next few years, this industry, this beautiful beauty industry around the world is going to be growing by 8 to 10% incremental. That means opportunities to grow, to develop, to anything you want to be in this world. The thing is, the more you subscribe and share it with your friend, the more I can make this podcast be the best place for you. Any subject that you find is necessary, let us know. So please subscribe and help us get to at least 1,000 downloads. Once we get there, we'll celebrate. So let's talk about if you could speak to our audience about three tips that they should in order to let's say to get new clients. Let's talk about new client acquisition. What's out there that people are not actually doing that they need to know that it's something they need to invest? I know that everything takes time.
Yeah.
Nothing happens overnight. But what do you think is something that people don't put enough?
Yeah. So you want three things or you want one thing?
I would love three.
Okay. So the cool part about what I'm going to say is I feel like a lot of people already have these components. They just don't maximize them. The three that I would go with is stories. So whether we're on Facebook, whether on Instagram, a lot of what I find, and not even just in salon, spa, and medi aesthetics, but across all industries when it comes to business, we're not leveraging stories nearly enough. The reason why I like stories, not to say that you don't need to put things into your feed for Instagram or Facebook, but stories give you an extra level of visibility. You're able to see who's actually looking at your stories. Are they the right types of clientele? Are they new clientele? Are they families and friends that are only looking at your stories? And so I would say leveraging stories is going to be one of the things from a social media standpoint that I don't see people leveraging enough, that we definitely need to be doing a better job of advertising. And for stories, what I like to tell our Salon Cadence clients is stories can be whatever you want to make them, but why not leverage stories even from a standpoint of highlighting what makes our team unique, even once a week, so that we could be actively recruiting for team members even when we're not hiring. Because the worst case scenario is that you have a warm list of people who've already raised their hands who want to work for you and you don't have an opening. So when you do have an opening, you almost like have a hit list that you can go back to and kind of engage those folks. So leveraging stories, however that looks like for you. The second one would be text messages. So I know a lot of times we might send out text messages for appointment reminders, but thinking about creative ways that we can leverage text messages from a promotional standpoint. Now, we don't want to, abuse the idea that we have a direct access to people through their phones, but even if sending a text once every 2 weeks or once a week with last minute appointment openings, that's a great way to kind of get additional revenue through the door. And to get people to come in, right, and kind of book that appointment if they've kind of forgotten. So text is the second. And the third one is going to be your email signature block. So I know this sounds kind of contradictory, but I've had a lot of clients this year that have had great success by updating their email signature block. So if we have a promotion coming up, our next big holiday would be Mother's Day. So if we or Easter. So we have, use that signature block to let people know about your upcoming promotions. Use that signature block to let people know about loyalty programs or reward programs. Or bring a friend in and you get a discount. But because those signature blocks are on every single email that we send out, it's like a digital billboard that we never take advantage of, right? And so using that space wisely can be a great way to get additional lift, even if all you have in your signature block is links to your social media accounts. It can be a great way to get people off your list into social or vice versa. But look at that signature block and see what are some creative ways that you can use it for promotion. And maybe once a month or every 3 months, you switch it out and have a different promotion down there in that signature block.
I love that. That's great. Which makes me think about when you say texting. Yes. I love. There's a great company that I get text message once every week.
Okay.
Really, it's really emotional text. It's like it's a quote, and the quote comes not from somebody that is famous or somebody who's very well known. The quote comes from the company itself.
Oh wow!
Like for example, life is good. It's remember, Lacey, life is good. So keep having the sunshine in your court, or keep having the sign change. So create your own quotes coming from your own brand and sign your name underneath it, and maybe create a game like this with your team.
Mhm.
Maybe they come up with their own quotes and then utilize that to build a community with your clients. So it's not just promotional, but it's also like, one quote that warms their heart.
I love
So
that. Yeah.
text messaging is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm actually looking forward that every time I get that. Oh, there's another one. I definitely want to.
Yes.
It's dopamine. It's
Uh-huh.
dopamine. Oh,
It is.
so I love that. Okay. And if we can get another, kind of like a quick conversation on email, I feel like a lot of people thinking that email is a dying dinosaur. Well, I know it's the number one converter to a client. However, how many emails does one client needs to get in order to consider picking up the phone or book online?
A lot. Yeah, I mean, I think now, before the pandemic, we were at like maybe 12 touch points, and touch points can be a mixture between text, social media, email. I think now we're up to like 25 to 30 times. So if you
Wow.
think about, people that are already on your email list, you may have to touch them 20 plus times before they say yes. If they're on your email list and social, then you might do, let's say, 10 social kind of posts that they need to see and 10 emails. But it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit now.
Wow, that's incredible. So email conversion is an art and an
Mhm.
art and a lot of thinking, and you can use AI for that.
Yeah.
I use AI and Claude and ChatGPT as my consultant as well. I know you still need a human behind it, and thank God for you, Lacey. But we created a great sequences of how to reach out to lost clients.
Yes.
Let me tell you, it's not just one email. It's
Mhm.
not 5 emails. It is 20 emails. But here's the thing. Remember, the lifetime value of a
Mhm.
client is $4,000. So isn't it worthy to get 20 email sequences every quarter?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This episode is sponsored by Vish, the smartest color management system for profitable salons. Vish tracks your color usage, reduces waste, and helps you charge accurately for all color services so you can protect your profit and grow with confidence. You know that we are all about profit and how we live a profitable life of course, by design. You can definitely make it so easily, and I've seen it, the actual results on the P&L. Vish makes it happen. Now join thousands of salons using Vish to scale smarter. Head to getvish.com and see the difference for yourself. This episode is sponsored by Forest Salon Software, the all-in-one solution designed to help salon, spa, med spa owners really deliver with confidence and really design and drive their company to success. Forest isn't just a booking system. It is your machine that will help you grow your company with smart marketing and real-time reporting, staff performance tracking, and world-class support. And I mean world-class support, because I wouldn't even recommend Forest if they didn't have a world-class support. Now, so whether you're scaling to 7 figures or streamline your operation or need to fix things and tighten things up, Forest can help you make smarter decisions and deliver the luxury experience that your clients and your members really need. If you're ready for software that is all in and grows with you and support you for a truly team-run company, just visit forest.com and discover why thousands of salons trust Forest. And mention Salon Cadence and you'll get a perk. All right, so Lacey, we're coming to this hour, and thank you for sharing with us the most amazing things. For anybody out there, we working together. Lacey and I work every Tuesday and every Thursday. We get up early in the morning, we write, we talk about copy, and soon enough, we're going to start working together on the second book. I'm super excited. And our method. And so what I want to do is I want to do our 5 questions, the rapid fire 5 questions.
Okay.
Ready for that?
I'm ready.
All right. So what's your biggest failure And what did it teach you?
That's a hard one. I would probably say not going through. So I wanted to be a medical examiner. I don't know if I ever told you this. I wanted to be a coroner. So I guess in this moment, if I'm answering that question, one of my biggest failures may be not following through with that career because I would have had to go to college to medical school. But what it taught me though is that I can still have an amazing life and still have just as much of an incredible impact, just taking a different path.
Love that. Just means that there's not only one way of doing things.
Absolutely.
What's your superpower? Magic.
I think connecting with people. I think I think there's something about just my energy that makes people feel very safe, and so it allows me to connect with people quickly and in a different way than I think other people may be able to.
That's why we love you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. If you could put a billboard anywhere, what would it say?
It would say live a life poured out. So that's kind of like my, I guess my slogan of my life of like live a life poured out, where you can imagine like a pitcher, like a glass. And you're just literally, when you meet people, you pour out into them, nothing but positivity.
Oh, wow. Cool, cool, cool. Because that is you. What's your definition of success?
Ooh, being able to wake up without an alarm. Like that, like for me, like that's it. Like money's great, that's great. But like being able to wake up when I want to wake up with the sun glancing inside of my face. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. And the last one, what's exciting opportunities are coming your way?
Well, it's actually not for me. So I really do live for my kids. And so my son made the #1 team in the state, which is and they're the number 24 team in the country. And so in the next couple of weeks here, he starts his spring baseball season as a 12-year-old. And I'm so excited for him to crush it in baseball. Because in baseball, when you go from 12 to 13, you go from the little field to the big field. So this is his last year playing on the little field. And he has a goal to hit 50 home runs. So I'm excited to see how close he gets to that goal.
Wow, congratulations, Kevin. Oh, he is an amazing human, amazing. And I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will. Well, thank you for sharing all of that, Lacey. I think this was such a great show today.
Yes.
And I guess what I'm going to tell everybody here is this is the time. This is the only time to live a profitable life. And come and see us next time. Come and have conversations with Ronit, with a great guest, and live a profitable life.